Hello students, myself Dr. Ranjita Sinha, Assistant Professor in the Department of Basic Science and Humanities, Physics Section, Asansol Engineering College, going to present the topic named Compton Effect. Subject name is Physics 1. Subject code is BS PH 101/201. This is according to MACOUT syllabus. This is in module 4 in quantum mechanics. My contact detail is ranjita.phy@aecwb.edu.in. Course outcome of module 4. After the completion of this module, the students will learn to understand the basic concept of quantum mechanics and the origin of quantum theory. Today, I will discuss Compton effect. This is due to the particle property of the wave. Now, let us define what is Compton effect. When a photon of high energy h nu collides with the free electron of the scatterer at rest, it transfers some energy to the electron, and the scattered photon will therefore have a smaller energy h nu dash, and consequently a greater wavelength than that of the incident photon. The observed change in wavelength of the scattered photon by considering the elastic collisions between the incident photon and the free electron of the scattered material is known as the Compton effect. Here this is the incident photon. Now incident photon, let's consider it has energy h nu. This photon collides with a free or loosely bound electron of the scatterer. So this is the target electron. So this incident photon collides with this target electron. The photon is scattered at an angle phi. So this is the scattered photon direction. So this photon is there. So the incident photon, it is scattered in this direction with an angle phi. While the electron, this is the direction of the scattered electron or the recoil electron. So while the electron is recoiled at an angle theta, the process of recoiling of electron and the scattering of photon is shown totally in this figure. Now we can apply the laws of conservation of energy and momentum, and we can find out the change in wavelength of the scattered photon. So we can find out the change of wavelength of the scattered photon. Now here, that is X-ray photon. Here we can say that is quantum theory of light tells us that light can be treated as photon with energy h nu, E equal to h nu, and it possesses definite momentum. Hence, collision of photon and an electron can be treated like collision between two billiard balls. An X-ray photon with energy nu, that we have already said, it is scattered by an electron at rest. It is scattered by an electron at rest, and after collision what happens? Electrons gain some, this electron gains some energy, and the frequency of the X-ray photon that decreases to nu dash. So while it was initially nu, now it is nu dash. The relativistic collision. From the knowledge of special theory of relativity, we know that E equal to m0 square root over m0 square c to the power 4 plus p square c square. And for photon, rest mass m0 equal to 0. Again we know E equal to P into C, and E equal to, we know, that is also h into nu. Now we can write the expression of energy as E equal to hc by lambda. So we can convert this nu in terms of lambda as nu equal to c by lambda. So P equal to what? From this expression we can find out P equal to E by C. So P equal to E by C. Now from here we can write E by C, that is equal to h nu by C. So we can write the expression as P equal to h by lambda. We have already said that by applying the laws of conservation of energy and momentum, we can find out the change in wavelength of the scattered photon. So for this, we are first applying the law of momentum conservation along and perpendicular to the direction of incidence. So first we are taking along x-axis. Along x-axis, that is along the direction we are considering. So initial momentum, that is h nu by c. So here initial momentum, that is P equal to h nu by c. Now what is the final momentum? The final momentum is h nu dash by c cos phi plus p cos theta. This is along x-axis. Now we can equate this to, that is initial momentum equal to final momentum, and we can write this as h nu by c. So this one equal to h nu dash by c cos phi plus p cos theta. It is written here. Now we can write this as p cos theta, that is we can write this as p cos theta equal to h nu by c minus h nu dash by c cos phi. Now here similarly along the y-axis p sin theta, we can write it, that is equal to h nu dash by c sin phi. Now from this equation and from these two equations we are considering. Now this equation, that is p cos theta equal to h nu by c minus h nu dash by c cos phi, we can write this equation as, if we multiply both side by c, we can write pc cos theta equal to h nu minus h nu dash cos phi. And also here in this expression, if we multiply both sides by c, then we will get pc sin theta equal to h nu dash by h nu dash sin phi. So in left hand side we have here pc cos theta and here we have pc sin theta if we multiply both equations by c. Now squaring and adding, if we square and add, so here we will get in left hand side we will get p square c square cos square theta and here p square c square sin square theta. So if we add these two, so we will get total p square c square equal to, now also squaring and adding we are doing these two expressions. Now here in the right hand side what we will get, that h nu whole square minus 2 into h nu into h nu dash cos phi plus h nu dash square. So we have this expression of p square c square. Now we will this expression later in next slide for the derivation of Compton shape or Compton wavelength. Here in this slide we are considering energy consideration we are taking. Now for this what we are writing, that E equal to T plus m0 c square. So for this we are taking E equal to T plus m0 c square. And also we know E equal to root over m0 square c to the power 4 plus p square c square. Now if we square it, then this root over will cancel. So we can write m0 square c to the power 4 plus p square c square. That is equal to what? That is E square, and E square equal to T plus m0 c square, its whole square. So from here we can write, now if we break this expression in the right hand side, here it is m0 square c to the power 4 and here also we will get m0 square c to the power 4, they will cancel. these two terms will cancel. Now what remains, that is p square c square equal to what? T square plus 2m0 c square t. Again we know that is t equal to what? This is equal to h nu minus h nu dash. Now if we put the value of t, that is h nu minus h nu dash, to this value of t, then we can write the expression of p square c square as p square c square, that is equal to h nu minus h nu dash square plus 2m0 c square. So 2m0 c square, and in the place of t we are writing h nu minus h nu dash. Now what we are doing, we are breaking this term h nu minus h nu dash whole square. So this is, that is h nu square plus h nu dash square minus 2 into h nu dash, and this is the term as it is we have written. So we have another expression of p square c square from this energy consideration, and from momentum consideration we already have this term that we have shown in previous slide, that is p square c square equal to h nu square plus h nu dash square minus 2 h nu dash cos phi. So this already we have from the momentum conservation, the expression of p square c square. Now we can equate these two expressions. Now comparing, we can write that is 2 into h nu dash minus 2 m0 c square h nu minus h nu dash, that is equal to 2 into h nu dash into cos phi. So comparing the two expressions of p square c square, we have our this expression. We can construct this expression. Now we are going to calculate the Compton shift. Now Compton shift, we have the previous expression as we have discussed, that is m0 c square into h nu minus h nu dash equal to h nu dash into 1 minus cos phi. So nu minus nu dash, that is equal to, from here we can write h nu dash by m0 c square into 1 minus cos phi. Just simplify. Now as nu equal to c by lambda, so in this place of nu we are writing c by lambda and this nu dash as c by lambda dash. So here again h by m0 c square as it is we are writing, and nu dash is here, which is converted to lambda, that is nu equal to c by lambda and nu dash equal to c by lambda dash, and as it is this portion, that is 1 minus cos phi. Now just calculating, simplifying. So here lambda dash, and here we are getting lambda dash minus lambda, and c cancels here, that is one here it's c square and here it is c square, and if this c we can just keep going into denominator. So lambda dash minus lambda by lambda dash, the expression we are getting as h by m0 c into 1 minus lambda into 1 minus lambda dash into 1 minus cos phi. So delta lambda, that is actually lambda dash minus lambda, that is the change of wavelength, that is equal to what? H by m0 c into 1 minus cos phi. So here this lambda dash and this lambda dash, they cancels. Now our equation remains as this, that is delta lambda equal to h by m0 c into 1 minus cos phi. And what is this? That is h by m0 c, that is known as Compton wavelength. So lambda c, c means Compton wavelength, it is denoted by lambda c, and we are writing it as h by m0 c. So our final expression becomes, that is the shift in wavelength delta lambda, that is equal to lambda c into 1 minus cos phi. Now here, that is we are putting it equation number 1. Now for electron we can calculate the Compton wavelength, and we know all the values of h, m0 and c. If we put the values, then we can find out the expression as lambda c, that is equal to Compton wavelength is 0.024 angstrom, and this is the Compton wavelength for electron. So we can find out the expression of h by m0 c. last slide, we have already proved the expression of Compton shift as delta lambda equal to lambda c into 1 minus cos phi, and it was our equation number 1. Now this equation has following conclusions, that is delta lambda equal to 0 when phi equal to 0. So if cos phi equal to 0, then cos phi cos 0, so cos phi equal to cos 0, and this is the value is 1. So you are getting the delta lambda as 0. So phi equal to 0, then delta lambda equal to 0. So there is no scattering along the direction of the incident photon. Now second, if we take phi equal to pi by 2, then what happens? Then cos pi by 2, that means 0. So that is delta lambda is lambda c. Now third case, now if phi equal to 180 degree, then delta lambda, that is equal to what? 2h by m0 c. So here if cos phi equal to cos 180, so then the value of delta lambda, that we are getting it as 2h by m0 c. That is, the wavelength change will be twice of the Compton wavelength lambda c. Because h by m0 c is the Compton wavelength, that is the value is, this value is lambda c. So 2 into lambda c. So this will be twice the Compton wavelength value lambda c. And this is the maximum possible shift. This is the maximum possible shift for phi equal to 180 degree. In this slide, the experimental setup for Compton effect experiment is shown. In this setup, a source of monochromatic X-ray, this is shown here. Now these are the collimators and this is the target, and in this way the scattered X-ray direction is shown, and this is the direction of unscattered X-ray, and this is the path of spectrometer, that is X-ray spectrometer is shown in this position here. Now different curves are experimental curves are shown where relative intensity versus wavelength, they are plotted, relative intensity and wavelength. For phi equal to 0, this is the graph. Now if phi equal to 45 degree, then we are getting this shift, that is delta lambda is from here to here, that is this shift we are getting. And when phi equal to 90 degree, so this is the shift delta lambda, and phi that is equal to 135 degree. So in this relative intensity and wavelength, that is graph, this is delta lambda, this is the for phi equal to 135 degree. So delta lambda is shown here. Now this is very important question, that is Compton effect cannot be observed with visible light but can be observed due to X-rays or gamma rays. Now the wavelength of visible light, that is we can take in average, that is 6000 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Now energy of the visible light E equal to hc by lambda, that we know. Now we know that is the Planck's constant, the value is 6.627 into 10 to the power minus 34, and the velocity of light is 3 into 10 to the power 8 divided by lambda. So lambda we have then 6000 into 10 to the power minus 10 meter, and as it is energy, so we are converting this in electron volt, so dividing in 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. So we are calculating in EV, and ultimately we are getting 2 electron volt. So the energy of visible light we are calculating as 2 electron volt. The binding energy of an electron in an atom is nearly equal to 10 electron volt. So when visible light fall on a target, it cannot liberate electrons of the scatterer. But the energy of X-rays of wavelength 1 angstrom, that equal to 2 into 10 to the power 3 electron volt, and that for gamma rays it is 10 electron volt. So when X-rays and gamma rays will fall on the target, they can liberate electrons of the scatterer at rest. So we can observe Compton effect with X-rays or gamma rays, but it is not observed with visible light. So this is the reason behind this. I am ending my lecture for today. But before ending my lecture, I want to summarize my today's lecture. Today I have discussed what is Compton effect, and this is due to the particle property of the wave. We have expressed the expression of Compton shift as delta lambda equal to lambda c into 1 minus cos phi. Depending on the value of phi, the value of delta lambda, it is changing. For phi equal to 0, no scattering is observed along the direction of the incident photon, and for phi equal to 180 degree, maximum possible shift is there. I have also discussed why Compton effect is not observed in visible light, but it can be observed with X-ray or gamma ray. So this is the today's discussion. Thank you very much for listening my lecture. If any student has any queries, then contact in my official email ID, which is given in the first slide.